welcome back. For those of you who haven't been here before, which is honestly probably most of you because my channel is brand new, I am Jess with Midnight Raven, and I am going to go through my July 2026 planner setup, planner recap video for July. So right now my ecosystem has 4 planners in it. One of those is a professional work planner that I'm not using right now. It's a Just Scribble Duo, and then I have a Hobonichi Techo, a Just Scribble horizontal plans, and a Hobonichi Weeks that I am using for 2026. So first is my Hobonichi Weeks. It is my media journal. Here I track all of my books and TV. July was a really big month for reading for me. I'm trying a new challenge on the reading front and trying to make sure that I'm emphasizing more book time and less screen time, honestly. So I had a total of 20 days reading a physical or ebook and 10 days on Audible in July. I track that over here on my perpetual planner. And then I track the books that I read each month kind of in a visual format here. So again, I had a pretty successful month with lots of reading. And track kind of when I started and ended each one for the month. So we finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books, which again, I'm very happy, very impressed for myself for July. That's a really big month reading for me. And then July, we also finished a couple shows. So we finished the first season of Rooster. I'm a huge Steve Carell fan. I watched The Office from the very beginning when it started and have watched it an embarrassingly large number of times since then. We also finished Dark. That was a rewatch for us and really enjoyed it as well. We watched it when it very first came out and we're just kind of looking for new things to watch and went, oh, don't remember that one very much, but it was really good, really complex, but really good. Also finished Jaws so I basically go through in the TV shows, I do try and rank them like based on and make a little notes on like, did we like it, do we not, whatever. And then the books I read, because I actually have like a mini book review in the back in the notes section, I usually just put a sticker for the cover of the book that we read. And I use a Canon Ivy to print these out. I put basically 2 on a sticker sheet and then just cut them in half. One for the books is one up here and one back here. And then the TV show, I just do 1 on each half. We also got caught up on For All Mankind, the newest season of that. I loved the show when it really first started. I still enjoy it, but I will say as it's gone on, maybe not quite as entertaining as we thought it was originally, but the concept in the first few seasons were really, really good. So if you haven't seen it, I do recommend that one. Finished Dragons, Demons, and Demigods. Eldritch on Audible, When Things Get Dark. It's like a collection of short stories. And then finished 3 books last week. So not a huge TV, fortunately, this month in terms of series we finished or things that we watched, but definitely pretty good on the books front. And then, like I said, back here, I do all of my mini book reviews as we read things. So I finished All Systems Red, Jaws, Dragons, Demons, and Demigods, Eldritch, When Things Get Dark, Kin, and 9 Goblins, all in the month of July. So that is my media planner. I'm really enjoying doing the media planner this year, and I definitely think I'm going to do it again next year. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the Hobonichi Weeks again, but I think the format is pretty good, so I'll use this or something similar style to keep doing the media journal next year. Next up, I'm actually going to go to this, again, Frog and Toad collaboration Hobonichi cover on here. This is my fitness, wellness, health kind of journal planner tracker. So in the beginning on the perpetual calendar, I do all of my health habits. So for the month of July, I have my eat, sleep, drink, move. I've mentioned this in my first video, but I am injured right now. So my move checkbox, that's actually like formal workout classes or like walking on the treadmill or like going for intentional movement, not just general like steps in a day or anything. So because of that right now, I'm not doing any of that right now as I go through recovery, but generally pretty happy with how I did across the board. My sleep is a little bit spotty here. Again, that's due to my injury. My minimum time to get my sleep check mark is 7.5 hours a night, which previous to being injured was pretty much a non-issue. That was almost guaranteed to be my best. But unfortunately, as I've been going through this, my sleep has gotten a little bit more challenging. And then my average steps per day, again, way down because of my injury. And then my water, an average of 7 glasses a day. And my average sleep on the weekday, averaging 7 hours and 25 minutes. And on the weekend, 8 hours and 14 minutes. So not bad, definitely better than next month, or the last month, but would kind of like to get that better to a solid 8 hours across the board. And then monthly, I do something a little bit different here. I got this idea, I think from my Dandelion Diaries a little bit. I think she was the first one that I saw to do this. And then I think kind of looking at other people, I track a combination of like emotional emojis each day, but then I also, and I think that was where I got from my Dandelion Diaries. But then what I also do is I like to track my energy levels. So I use the mild liner to kind of just do a box around based on my high, medium, or low energy days. So July overall, kind of just medium, normal, solid energy. I had 6 days where I was like extra energized and only 4 days of like really low, where probably I honestly didn't sleep well or like kind of something was off. But, and then yeah, my little emojis for each day on, and these are Coffee Monster Co. almost all of them this month, I think, except for this one. She just has so many emoji heads that it's hard not to like A, want to collect them all, and B, want to use them. So picked her little emojis and do this each month. But yeah, generally kind of all positive. I think most of my frustrating days were really minimal this month, so very appreciative for that. So there's my overview of my monthly spread. I'm not going to get too deep into the weeklies, but basically I do track all of my meals here. Normally my workouts go here too. My habit tracker just kind of on a week basis, so I have a quick glance at it. I track my steps each day here, my time slept each day here, and then normally it's food and workout, but right now it's just food, what I eat, when I eat it, to kind of make sure that I'm hitting my health and fitness goals that I'm trying to achieve, even if it's on a more limited version of it right now while I'm actively healing. So, and then the dailies, I did not have many on the dailies this month. My goal, and this I think I'm going to change, this ended up being a little bit more intensive than I thought for where I am in my life. But what I wanted this to be was kind of a combination of like tarot readings on my monthly and full moon spreads, and then like going through like specifically health goals or like personal growth goals, because I just don't. Last year when I was doing this, I was doing everything in a Hobonichi, and I was doing memory planning and events, and like just, it was too much crossover, and I found a lot of days where I didn't have enough space or it felt very scattered. So my journaling, my health, my memory, all of it was just not working very well for me. So I decided this year was I was going to divide the two out and use my dailies in here for journaling, and then use this as more of like health and self-growth and tarot and that kind of thing. But I just haven't found myself using it a ton. So I've got one, I don't know, 2 or 3 days maybe in July that I did. I definitely started off the year stronger, January, February, like we all do. But just as time went on, this was a little bit too much. And I think it's something I want to get back to next year and like focus on a little bit more. But I think I may either change the size of this planner, or I don't know. Something here is not 100% working for me. Most of it is maybe I just skip the dailies in this and like find a different notebook to document that piece in. I'm not sure. But yeah, not quite working the way I thought it would from the dailies perspective, but everything else is exactly as I want it. And like I want to continue doing all the rest of this for my health and fitness planner next year. So that's July there. And then my final is, again, this is kind of more of my memory planner, non health fitness, like everything else planner. So I do a perpetual calendar with my Pokemon of the day, and I did every day in July. It was the 10-year anniversary of Pokemon Go and the 30-year of Pokemon in general. So they had like a big event month. So like my favorite Pokemon almost every day was a costumed Pikachu, because he's adorable, and then in costume he's adorable. But several of those days I also got a shiny costume, so of course that had to be my favorite. So I did a really good job documenting these this month, or last month, and then moving into this month. And then my next page is my habits. Overall, my habits are getting a little bit better on the reading and audible part. I didn't do much tarot this month. I've just kind of felt a little detached from that. Same thing with my read a day through pivot year. That's a Brianna Weist daily. And this happened to me last year too. I did the first half of the year great, and then I got off track mid-year. And then the end of the year I pick it up again. I'm like, oh, I'm going to read through this whole thing again next year. And the same thing is happening this year. I'm just falling off track with it. I'm trying again this month though. My skincare was really great. short form. I didn't even do a single short form. I didn't listen to one. But I did some creative work, did some time blocking there. So yeah, doing okay on that, but continuing to track it here. Weather, I'm doing this so that I can kind of look at the seasons overall, because I, in most of the year, have put my garden notes over here. And so being able to look at the weather pattern, like the highs and the lows in the weather pattern, I think will help me a lot in the future with garden planning. I have a pretty big garden in our backyard. Um, I have not been out in my garden hardly at all, though, because it's challenging for me to move around right now. So unfortunately, no notes for this month. I did put a couple notes on August 1st just to make sure that I kind of have a general idea of what's going on. But I did do the weather every day on this one too. And then we jump into July. So my 3 words for July were just clarity, compassion, and simplicity. These were just basically reminders to me to be like compassionate with myself, to keep things simple. This was a month of focus on kind of recovery and keeping things basic, and not like feeling the need to do all the things all the time. Just kind of treating myself like how I would actually treat other people, a lot more like with patience and compassion and kindness, and just kind of choosing things that are in an easygoing pace. So those were my 3 focus words, and I think I did a really good job of this month. I don't use this page a whole lot. Like I'll kind of maybe sometimes come back and throw in a couple stickers here for like, this is my grandkids' first birthday, and conveniently because it was on Saturday, their birthday party too. So like it was a happy moment that I threw on here. And then my ink of the month. So every month I pretty much use the same pens in each of these 3 planners. These 2 are Lamies, and then this one's a Sailor. But this month I did Waringle the Raven ink for all of my weekly spreads in here. This I bought when we were in Chicago in June, and at Atlas Stationers, and I don't know, it was a beautiful like shimmery black. Like I really enjoyed it this month, and it wrote beautifully. So which I know is partly the paper. This, as I've said before, this paper is just absolutely amazing. But yeah, really enjoyed this ink. This is going to be a regular in rotation, I think. And then my kind of July recap month, because it was so simple, I literally left it, got my grandkids here. My first video for my Herkid chose my very first video I posted on here, the Herkid challenge. 2 of my 3 doggos. My other 3rd doggo, I didn't necessarily have a great picture of him, so he got left out this month. I'll have to make sure he's in next month. And then I did get back to some like cooking and bread baking this month, so that loaf turned out really, really well. So I had a picture of that to document it. So it's kind of my wrap-up page for the month. And then here's my weekly spreads. So I am kind of weird. I don't like to start planners on the day of, like the Monday of either the week going in or the first full week, like a lot of people do. I truly like to start mine on the first day of the month. So since this is book 2, the second half year book, I didn't put my Monday and Tuesday here. They're in book 1. I literally started on Wednesday. So use some extra stickers to kind of cover that up and not focus on it. And then of course I got distracted, and because my daily journaling, I do different ink colors. I of course then went back here and filled this out in the wrong color ink, but that's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. But yeah, just keeping again with my really nice simple layouts that I've been doing every week since I've kind of gotten more settled in this planner. So what do I need to do? Anything non-grocery or like weird things we need to buy, non-typical chores or chores that I like maybe should have done but put off. Like laundry shows up here a lot because I tend to hate doing my laundry. And then our dinner for each week. And then still continuing on with my pain tracking stickers, which is working really well, I think, for me to kind of gauge how things are going, as well as journaling. I did some stickering earlier this month and had some fun with that. I go through phases where I do a lot of that and then I don't do it at all. But I did try and have like a little extra fun since the first week, 4th of July, had some time off, like extra time to kind of sit down and do some of that. And then I accidentally found this Disney Villains Happy Planner sticker set, like in a weird place. I have no idea. It was like on a bookshelf in some like old yearbooks and photo albums. No idea how it got there or why, but so I found it and I was like, oh, I have to use this. So I used that for this week. And then again, more pain tracking, journaling, again, trying to keep this month nice and simple. So some days I missed, some days I didn't. Pokemon Go Global Go Fest was the beginning of the month. So we did go out and do a little bit of playing on that on Saturday and Sunday. Not like anything crazy. We did a lot of driving for it because again, I'm not moving around a ton. But I have this Pokemon sticker book. So I pulled out a bunch of the stickers that for like stuff that was out during the event and put them on here to kind of do some page filler space. Because, well, there's only so much that you can journal about Pokemon Go. And then the next week, these cute little Pipstick meow dragon, like little cat dragons that I thought were totally adorable. And then some more journaling. This day I spent making cards for, well, actually I spent the whole week drawing the cards, but then putting together the cards for my grandkiddo's first birthday. And then here was their actual birthday where we went to go spend time at their family house and do that. So grateful to have them in our life. They're just amazing little guys. And yeah, just to see how far they've come last year was like really exciting. So it was kind of our one really big thing of the month. And then Sunday was definitely a lot of like rest and recovery after that very busy day. And then I think this is our second to last week in July. More journaling. Again, some spots, a lot. Some spots, not much writing at all. Trying to be okay with that. White space is okay. And the final week of July, same thing, kind of tracking, getting through. So yeah, that is it. That's where things ended for July. I also usually don't put anything on this page, but these are the inside of little cards that I made them. And then there's other little goofy little wizard frog that I drew. I want to be able to use him in my book journal and create him in some different things, like kind of fantasy little goofy wizard frog dude. So went ahead and since I did his initial sketch, printed out a copy of him too to throw there. So that's it for my July recap in my 3 planners in my ecosystem. Again, I'm really happy with this one and the way it is going. Overall, really looking forward to continuing. We'll probably use this similar same planner next year. We'll definitely be continuing with my media journal next year. And then this is kind of the TBD on what I want to do or how I want to frame it. Do I combine it in this and do it something bigger again, or do I keep it separate, but maybe without the dailies or with a different structure to the dailies? So it is planner season. I know you guys are probably all thinking about 2027 planners as well. So if you have any ideas or thoughts or interest in sharing what your planner ecosystem setup is going to be for next year, please do comment. I'd love to discuss and hear more ideas from you guys. And thank you so much for being here.